assumptions, risks, the in-scope functions, out of scope, the requirements, technical and design notes, estimation points, and finally, decisions. So let's dive right into it. Okay, so for the revision history, this is the first document. It's the initial draft, and I am the author of the document. The approvals for this is still in the initial draft approval, so and it's pending an approval from the central president.
So just give me a second here. So again, on this morning session, we might just do maybe 2 hour session because I've got a presentation somewhere at 9 that I need to start going because I need to be with them and present this morning. And so it's going to be a short session. It's not going to be the 3 hours. I don't know where we're going to stop, but we're going to stop somewhere. And then maybe sometime this week, I'm thinking of Tuesday, but every Monday, I will let you guys know. And then we should be able to finish. I want us to finish with all the presentations by this weekend and maybe early next week. So just, for FYI purposes, keep that in mind as well. All right, Joe.
All right, sure. Thank you. So the essential personnel for this project is the business owner, Mr. Samuel Nanabwati, and he's the one that's going to approve the initial draft of the document. Okay, so for the business problem, ABC Financial Group is a lending house. It's a lending business. They are specialized in embedded financing for home improvement. So ABC basically offers loans to people or individuals who want to improve their houses, or they give money to people who want to buy certain things for their house, improve houses, maybe go on a vacation. And they partner with Lowe's Improvement Company to provide loans to individuals interested in having a home makeover. All right, so the client has expressed a need to have a web service for additional healthcare financing to their current embedded financing for home improvement. And that's because ABC Lending House has noticed or have observed that a lot of their clients keep coming to them and asking them for loans or making inquiries about loans for health. So by health, I mean in the sense that they want loans for procedures or surgeries or health procedures that are not covered by the traditional health insurance scheme available. So ABC Financial Group has noticed this, and the current assets of the company is they want to move, or they want to dabble in healthcare financing. So currently their system offers loan services for home improvements. There is no services available for healthcare financing for ABC Financial Group. Also, the client has a working web application and service for home improvement loans. The client is also active on the market and interested in broadening their market reach into the health financing sector. So that particular statement is the as-is of the company. That is their current place or their current situation as an organization. So let's move to the solutions overview. All right, so the scope of this solution is to cover the aforementioned client requests. So the goal of the solutions is to cover everything, the requirements that the customer has come across with. So that is, the customer wants us to provide an online solution for them in order to move into healthcare financing, in order to help and service their customers that have shown an interest in it. So the solution provided will cover all the client's needs, adding a web service for providing the users with healthcare loans. So the main aim of this is not to create a whole new web application or service for ABC Financing, but is to extend it. So it's more of an enhancement to their current available services. The solution will include a web service and application tailored to meet the client's need. The implementation would be implemented with 3 services embedded into one major service to allow functionalities to be segregated. So this basically means that the implementation of the solution has been segregated into various layers in order to allow for isolation of functions, to note the important functions, and then integrated into one service to allow people to use and to properly deliver their services, It should be noted that there would be an additional layer to monitor all 3 layers. That's the servicer portal. So per the requirements we received from the stakeholder, there are 3 major layers that allows for people outside of ABC Financing to use their services. But there's a 4th layer that allows the people from ABC Financing to monitor everything that is going on their application. So that is the extra layer that has been added, known as the service hub portal. The web service would have an additional, the web service would add, that's a typo, to their current services and will function independent of the current home improvement loan service. So it is per the requirement, it is very, it is priority that we note that the current services being built for ABC Lending House, also known as the clients in this document. So I'll be referring to them as the clients in order not to waste time, like mentioning the entire thing. The client, this new service for the client actually is going to function independently from their home lending services, their home improvement services. So the fact that you've probably received a loan from their home improvement service does not automatically mean that when you go into the healthcare financing, you are treated as, oh, you are a recurring customer. No, the healthcare financing, though an integrated part of the major web service of ABC, the client, it is also independent from their current home improvement loans. The assumptions for the implementation of this solution is that their users know how to use a computer and to access the web. So let's move into the risks. For the risk, we have three major risks, and then we have mitigations for them. So the first one is security breaches. So as an online and something that's online, that's functioning online, it is prone to security breaches from hackers, from people that want to encroach into the system. And the best way to do that in order to avoid data being stolen is data encryption. So very sensitive data like the SSN numbers, your usernames, your passwords, all those things are encrypted in the database. So if the hacker or person trying to acquire data from ABC servers goes into it and by chance happens to break the firewalls and everything, when they go into it, they can't actually get the actual data. All the data is going to be encrypted in the database. We also have service denial. So service denial is from somebody trying to access their service, but they can't, maybe because their account has been rendered, has been broken through already. There's going to be user validation in the sense that if somebody loses their password or enters their password, somebody enters a wrong password a couple number of times, the system stops them and then the user has to go through validation. This is done in order to make sure that the people trying to access their accounts on ABC services are the right people and are the correct people. We also have server failure. So to mitigate this, we are going to be hosting on trusted cloud platforms like AWS. All right, so some in-scope functions are as follows. We have the loan trigger by the provider, send SMSs through API, send email through an API, user registration, user login, two-factor authentication for users, credit score evaluation through an API, loan decision engine model, payment analysis, service usage analysis, NFR, need for further review, approval, payment services through APIs, password recovery, and data encryption. So all of these are the major functions major functionalities that per the requirements gotten from the stakeholder. These are the major functions, in-scope functions that are within the application in order to make the application an MVP, a minimum viable product. So for out of scope, the user clearly stated that there will be no simultaneous loan applications. So one user cannot ask for more than one loan at once. There are no third-party logins. So users cannot have third-party logins from like Google, Facebook. That functionality will not be allowed. And there's no mobile application. So our current web service is fully web and everything is going to happen in the web browser. So let's take a moment and go through our requirements. So the requirements are actually in about 6 layers. So each requirement is stated here. So let's quickly run through them. So one, the web application should have a provider's portal. So the providers are hospitals with applications for doctors, nurses, etc., which trigger the loan option. So for our web application, the entire process or the entire workflow of the service starts from a provider or a hospital. And within those hospitals, the loans can be triggered by doctors or nurses, which are in charge. The application is triggered by them. So each person in that hospital that has been approved by ABC Financial Group has certain details that allows them to trigger a loan application. All right, so the provider enters the initial details of the patient, which include the first name, middle name, which is optional, last name, phone number, email, total procedure cost. And at the moment, the maximum loan that can be offered by the client is $40,000. The requested amount, the amount the patient is paying or footing, the procedure or surgery date. The hospital's data is pre-populated because these hospitals are already in the ABC Financial Group's database because they have been pre-approved. The details of the hospital are already pre-populated, so the person triggering the loan cannot change these things. Some of the data includes the hospital name, address, city, state, and the name of the hospital personnel triggering the loan. Next up, we have the data submitted to the provider should trigger an SMS and email to be sent to the patient. These messages should contain an embedded link to redirect them to a secure page for two-factor authentication. So one, the two-factor authentication allows them to key in their phone number to receive an OTP, that's a one-time password, in order to be validated. Upon validation, the patients enter their personal identifiable information, that's their PII, which is their social security number. The social security number is a 9-digit number specific to each individual in the US. So it is a unique ID for each person. So immediately they enter the SSN, a credit score check is run, and if it is equal to or above the required score of 700, they are approved and sent information about the loan terms. Upon agreeing on the loan term, they sign digitally and are redirected to the borrower's portal. So next up, we have the web application should have a borrower's portal. So everything within the first two is before the user registers and is on the platform in order to view their loans and how everything has been going and what they need to do. So next up, we have the user would be asked to register and access their loan details. So the registration will require them to provide a username, a password, and their email. The username should only be letters with a minimum length of 5 characters and a maximum length of 12 characters. The password should be a minimum length of 8 characters and a maximum length of 25 characters. Also, the password should have a combination of at least one number, an alphabet, and a special character. The email needs to be the one provided at the start of the loan application. So every email that is provided has already been pre-approved, you understand? So by the time they are re-entering their email, there's an authentication one on the email. They realize that, oh, okay, this person is in our system, and then this is the new user trying to register and access their loan details. All user information retrieved at the start of the loan would be grayed out and not be allowed to be keyed in. So everything from their first names entered at the start of the application by the provider will be grayed out. So the user cannot re-enter those details because they have already been grayed out. All right, the new user should be able to log into the portal or under the borrower's portal still. They provide a username and a password to log in. If they forget their password, they can request a new one. On password request, they enter their email and a reset link is sent to the mail once the mail is validated. The link would redirect them to the page to enter and confirm a new password, which would regain them access to their accounts. Because it's a password reset account, there is a token attached to the email, to the special link sent to their email, So when they click on that special link, that token is then decrypted by the server, and then they're able to tell that, okay, this is a person actually requesting a password reset for themselves, and then they are able to key in their new passwords and then regain access into their account. The borrower's portal should have a dashboard in which borrowers can monitor their profiles. So they should be able to see their document details, that's their loan details. They can view payment history, they can view the amount left to pay, they can view their balance, they can decide the methods of payment, that's either bank transfer, debit cards, or wire transfers. They can choose to automate payments or not. I missed a requirement that on automation of payments, they receive a 1% deduction on the profit of the loan, which is 15%. So when they choose automated payments, they pay 14% instead. There should be a lender's portal. This portal is to cater for the banks that have collaborated with the clients for their new service. So the lender portal allows the investors to see the amount of loans that they have disbursed, the full analysis on the loans. That means who are receiving the loans, how much is being taken, how much of their money has been taken, what's the profit that they have, and everything about the loans that they are giving out to ABC. The web application should have a servicer platform for the staff of the clients responsible for the overview of the daily running of the application. So this is like the administrator center of everything. This is where everything about the web service is being monitored by staff from ABC. So they're able to approve NFRs, that's need for further review. So in the case of where a loan application is sent to ABC and they realize that there are some details that are not adding up, so the admins are able to look into those documents. They can contact users and all of that to make sure that everything is going on right. They can aid users correct those things and then approve those said loan documents. They can view analysis on the number of applications, analysis on the amount of money disbursed, view analysis on the performance of each provider on their service, attend to customers 24/7 through emails and online chats, and add new lenders and providers to the platform. So because ABC is collaborating with hospitals as providers, they're able to tell, oh, this hospital is giving out more loans, this hospital is not doing so well, this hospital has a lot of requests. So this helps the admins make further decisions for how the application should be run. Finally, the platform also has the following requirements. They perform API calls to Equifax for credit score analysis, perform API calls to a digital signature service, they perform loan approval automatically unless unable to, then it marks the loan with NFR. So at the in-scope functions, you see that we have a loan decision engine model. So that is an algorithm or an AI that's able to look through all the details that has been provided by the user and then tells them that, oh, then just approves the loan and goes ahead that, okay, everything that has been given, every parameter that is needed to approve the loan has been met. So the loan has been approved and then the user is able to continue. Also, they perform API calls to authorize.net for all payment issues. Because the user does not want to take the burden of having to build a payment system, there's a payment system at authorize.net and they're using that for all their payments with the users. And authorize.net offers a wide range of payment methods such as PayPal, bank cards, wire transfers, etc. They provide information on the various escrow accounts visible to only services and lenders. The portal should be able to service at least 5,000 people concurrently on the platform. All right, so some technical and design notes as follows. For the back end, the service and the service architecture, we're using Node.js. For the front end, the web application, the parts that the users get to interact with, we're using AngularJS. And for the database management, that means building the schema and managing the database, we're using MongoDB. So for some estimation points, we have that the requirements is elicitation and gathering is done in 6 days. It started on the 30th of October and was finished on the 4th of, sorry, wow, that's a typo. It was supposed to be 4th of November. Then the initial business draft started on the 5th and ended on the 6th. The approval was on the 6th to the 10th. And then the final business requirement documents is from 11th to 17th. There has been a space left for more things that would include the development of the application. Finally, for decisions, we have approval of the initial requirements specification drafts. The decision maker is Mr. Samuel Nana Boateng. On the day of the decision making, the attendees will be added and everything else needed for the document. Thank you very much.
Okay, Joseph.
Yes, please.
Greetings to you.
Thank you.
Okay, I want to congratulate you for a good job well done. Everything is well detailed and very stated clearly. So I want to congratulate you once again. But I noticed one thing and I wanted to just get some clarification on.
Yes, please.
Can you scroll to the 8th page? Okay, that's cool. When we had the meeting with the stakeholder, I remember he mentioned that the website would be built on an AWS cloud server. But when I check your technical design notes, I don't see that stated in there. So I wanted to find out why.
I think that was a miss on my side, so it will be corrected. Thank you.
Oh, okay. No, okay. No problem. No problem. So, and with your estimated points, the start and finish date, you stated the requirements, elicitation, and gathering, which will take 6 days. Initial business requirement draft. Can you explain the initial business requirement draft for me, which will take 1 day?
That is this document. So the requirement and elicitation was done within 6 days. So everything gathered from the stakeholder was done between the 30th of October and November. So the actual drafting of the documents, that the amount of time actually took to make the documents, not gather the data, like actually put things in place, like make the tables and type this up, was done in 1 day. So that's what we mean.
Okay, cool. And in your estimation points, I don't see the start and finish date of when the project commences. So
yeah, during my presentation, I stated that the rest will be added based on the approval of the initial draft. I felt that because the initial draft had not been approved, making certain estimations would have been counterintuitive.
Okay. But I think that's why okay. But do you have assumptions in your document?
Assumptions, yes, I do.
Okay, please, can you go
assumptions, I did not understand the assumptions part. I figured it was what was needed for the solution, assumptions that would allow the solution to be profitable to the user. To the client, sorry. So I presume that at least the users of the application would know how to use a computer and access the web. Because that seems to be the base requirement for the users to use the application.
Okay. But if it's okay with you, I would like to help you clarify what the assumptions mean.
I would love that. Thank you very much.
Okay, that would be cool. The assumptions basically talk about you as the project manager, what you assume with your project initially. So in the initiation process, what you assume could be, or what your assumptions are about your own project. So I think that's what it entails in the assumptions aspect of your project, where you will state what you assume of the project or what you assume of the organization put together. So I stand to be more like other stakeholders could like give more light or share more light on my explanation. So basically that's what it entails, like your assumptions on what the project means.
Sure. Thank you very much. I'll make this very clear.
Okay, you're welcome. But your work is very clarified. It talks more about the base of your project. And I would like to, or do you talk about the fact that there wouldn't be the wireframes or a use case diagram in it?
I felt because this was the initial draft, it's just supposed to cover the base of the project. That's why my presentation is more covered about like everything about the base of the project. So I felt that, or I thought that before you build the document in something large and full of a lot of details, I want to capture the base requirements. So I know that upon approval, this is what the client was talking about. This is the base of everything that a client needs. Then the document is built upon. I was under the assumption that that is the goal of the assignment. If I may be wrong, but that was my assumption.
Oh, okay. But do you think you stand to be corrected, or you still hold that assumption?
I do stand to be corrected. So if that wasn't the goal, then it stems from my misunderstanding of the assignment, and I stand to be corrected.
Okay. Because with your wireframe, it could give a vivid or a vivid understanding of what your project would look like, because in the first place you are the one commencing the project, you are the one organizing or like managing the project. So you are the one with the foresight of what the project would look like one in the first place. You are the one with the understanding of how it's supposed to be. So you are to show us the stakeholders or the part stakeholders what your project would be like, so that we could have a fair view that, oh, okay, so this is how it would be, and this is what we expect from you. So anything else, anything less of this would be something that we would question you about, or anything that is superior would be something that we would know that you've done more, and anything that is the same thing would be like what we expect of you. So we would not have a different understanding of your project. Do you get it?
Yes, please. Thank you very much.
Yes. So I think you've done a good job, and I think your work really covers the base. But with the wireframe, it would help show a vivid display of what your project would do. So kudos. Good job.
Thank you.
Hello, Joseph.
Hello.
Yeah, Emmanuel Labi here. Can I proceed?
Yes, please.
Okay. So I think it's a great one. You're able to really explain most of the things that you've put here. Even though if someone should pick the documents without your presence, without you being there, I think the person will have some difficulty. But if you are there to assist in explaining the concepts, I think it is very straightforward, and the person would appreciate it with your presence. But to say without you being there, I think it is one document that the person might find, because you have reviewers and all these reviewers will not necessarily need you to be there, or you can't be there to explain to each one of them. I don't know if you get where I'm coming from. But if this document should get to them without you physically being present, or without you putting in a call to further explain certain things, I think they might have some challenges understanding this. I've forgotten the page, but the number of users that can be on the platform at a go. You said 5,000. Is that correct?
Yes, please.
Oh, okay. But I think service at least 5,000. But I think the stakeholder mentioned is it 50,000 or so? I think it was a bigger number. We got 5,000 people at a go on the platform. I think it's too small. Looking at the demand.
For the requirements, the stakeholder actually explicitly said 5,000.
He said 5,000.
Yes.
Okay. If that is it, then yes. And then also, I think also the whole thing talking about the basics, as you've rightly explained, the basics of the whole concept is straightforward, but there are other key aspects of the project that are also missing, and I know by now you have seen them, and you are looking forward to making or effecting those changes. Is that correct?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you very much, Joseph.
Thank you too.
For your work. Sure.
All right. If there's no more queries and whatnot, Joe, thank you very much. Also a great one, great presentation, great detail, etc. Like I said the other day, there's a first project, right? So I don't usually say much. All right, next person. Let's get going.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Emmanuel.
Good morning, everybody. This is Emmanuel, presenting live from Spain, Ghana. This is my business requirement documents for ABC Financial Group. In this presentation, I will be referring to this particular system, EMB lender. This version 1.00. I'll be a bit different in presenting from a PowerPoint. My table of content, we'll be looking at the document, abbreviation, purpose, problems, solutions, in scope, out of scope, assumptions, business requirements, user stories, the summary functions, and non-functions. So with the governance part of the document, as a product manager, the first draft has been done, and there were some reviews which we spoke with the executive sponsor in this month. With this part, we'll be looking at who is responsible for this project, who is accountable, who should be consulted, and who should be informed. And so this is what is called the RACIA matrix. The RACIA just stands for the responsible person, accountable person, consulted person, and informed person. So the responsibility relies on me to give a good document for work to start. Accountability will lies here. Just be creative a bit. It will be for a technical officer, and I will consult, or I have been consulting the executive sponsor, and information leads or given to me by the executive sponsor. A few abbreviations to look at is API, PI. I think all these are very much explained in the presentations. Just to talk a little about the systems and organization control, which is more or less like a framework for which data can be stored and protected. Since we are dealing with health records as well or the procedures leading to operations or surgery of the patients, we're also taking into considerations the regulations as well on how information on patients can be laid to other parties. Lay basic roadmap for design development of the system. It's also to serve as a baseline, which the stakeholders can effectively in developing the system. The baseline basically we need to back to it and see whether we are making progress or and so
I think we've lost him. He dropped off. Let's see if he's able to. His connection is terrible. It sounds like. Um,
hello, hello. Can everybody hear me, please?
yes, we can hear you, Emmanuel.
Okay. I'm really sorry. My internet is really so you have to bear with me. All right, I think you've followed me up to this level, or I have to go back. Please let me know
Oh, no, keep going.
where you got me up to. Hello, I have people on board. Okay,
Keep
all
going,
right, that's
Emmanuel.
fine. Right. So as I said, this document is to find the goals and expectation of ABCs in terms of how
We still don't have him back. I will ask the next person to go ahead and present. Okay, so who's the next person? Nana Kwesi Sapon. Are you on? Nana Kwesi Sapon is not on. Okay. Who is the next person after Nana Kwesi Sapon? Emmanuel Opoku-Amoh. Okay. All right, Emmanuel, go ahead.
Good afternoon.
Yep.
Good afternoon.
Yes, good
Am
afternoon.
I audible?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So I think I have to present because the others are. Okay. All right. Good afternoon once again. My name is Emmanuel Opoku-Amoh, and I am a freelance consultant and a product manager for ABC Financial Group. Now, ABC is already an existing company who deals in home loan deals for home appliances and other stuff. Now, ABC wants to extend their services into healthcare loans. So this document is a BRD for that particular project. And this is the table of content for this particular document. So I'll just go straight into it. Now, this is a log for a history, a revision history, and any change that comes after this document is presented. Now, the product sponsor please can you hear me?
We can hear you, Emmanuel. Go ahead.
All right. Okay. So the sponsor is Mr. Samuel Nana Boateng, and like I said, I'm the product manager. Now, in this document, we have here some 5 health facilities from 5 states that we already have on board for this new feature that we are having. So this is the list of some health facilities that we are going to work with. So like I said before, this is the problem. So ABC is in partnership already with Lowe's and Home Depot deals in the lending of money to other persons to purchase home improvement products and pay in installations. Now, ABC Financial now has decided to veer into healthcare insurance by providing a similar scheme to individuals whose insurance cover does not include some selected procedures, which also includes veterinary issues. This newly proposed platform brings on board some banking instructions whose main role is to support, institutions whose main role is to support the platform with advanced financial commitments, whilst also benefiting from this scheme. So to solve this, or for this to happen, we decided that because ABC already has an existing platform, what we are going to do is that we are going to build on the back of that existing platform and then provide 4 main portals, which is going to be the providers portal, the borrowers portal, the lenders portal, and then the servicer portal. Now, this is a breakdown of the various portals. So the provider portal is primarily going to give the healthcare provider a platform to subscribe a patient into the scheme. Then the borrower portal is where the patients themselves will continue with the process of registering and then accessing loans, check their statements, switch between payment methods, and check their progress and other stuffs like that. Now we are also going to have a servicer portal, which is going to be a platform to serve as an administrative and operational unit where decision making and review of the loans will be done. Now we'll have another portal, which is going to be the lenders portal. Now this will enable the financiers to trigger agreed funds from an escrow account to the provider directly, as well as enabling them to see transactions and know their expected profits in real time, as well as pull up records of reports and analytics. Now we'll have some APIs as well. We are going to have the payment gateway and then the escrow account APIs, and then an API to cross-reference on Equifax for credit score and then check. Now, here are some use cases. Now we are going to have the lender credit the escrow account, the provider where the doctor issues a request. Now the borrower is going to receive an SMS with the link in that SMS and continues to a secure page where we'll have a 2-factor authentication. Now, let me pause here and say, because of the kind of people we are going to deal with, because we are going to deal with a wide range of people in distress, people who are actually not feeling well, people who are one way or the other may not really be our normal kind of people. We try to make this platform as simple and as easy as possible so that it won't be too complicated for the user. Okay, so we are also going to have a one-time password is sent to the borrower's phone number for validation. The borrower is going to enter 4 digits into the secured 2-factor authentication page. We'll have a verbiage where we'll have great now proceed, where it tells the user to proceed. The borrower is going to enter their social security number, which is going to be a 9-digit number, and then submit. The servicer will profile the borrower by running their credit score check from Equifax. Now, if the profile passes, the requirement is approved, and if not, then they are declined. So if approved, the servicer automatically triggers requests for escrow to credit the provider's account. Now, after credit to the provider, the procedure will be done. The borrower begins to make installment payment automatically and manually towards receiving the bank. Now, servicer will credit the lender with a principal of 40% interest rate profit sharing on every transfer that is going to be made. Now, we didn't make any assumptions here for the time being, as at the time this document was being put together, because it is the initial document and then it will be sent for any review and then approvals. Now, some of the possible risks that we looked at for this particular project is that now there is the possibility that the borrower may fail to pay, especially because insurance doesn't cover. We'll have people who will fail to pay, and that is going to be some risk that ABC would have to take. Now, aside the borrower also paying, not paying, the borrower may also die, since some of these are procedures that is going to happen, and then the borrower may die during the process. These are things that cannot be avoided. So there are risks that needs to be taken. So the in-scope that we looked at are the various portals and then the APIs. Now, the parts or the out of scope where which was not discussed or we didn't look at during the requirement process is the extra funds request functionality. That one was not part of the areas where we're supposed to look at. So these are the requirements. The functional requirements for the provider's portal is that one, the provider will be able to create, modify, and then delete entries, some analytics, and then some reports will be given, some approval alerts. Now, the healthcare provider billing, the accounts interface with admin approval for the doctor's request, since the doctors will start the whole process. Now, the provider will receive a 6K in their escrow account, which will reorder level threshold. If a user loses password, there's a require for a two-phase authentication. Now, the interface to ensure the doctor requesting still works with the provider. Now, on the lender's portal, the user has privileges to also create, modify, and then delete. Now, when a user loses his or her password, there is also a two-phase authentication over there, some analytics, and then some reports also there. Now, for the servicer portal, we have privileges for creation and then modification and then deletion of accounts. Now, we will have the privilege of pre-populating the lender's list. We'll trigger some SMS to the client upon provider initiation. There'll be some SMS gateway integration criteria for NFR, some non-functional requirement algorithm to credit score with comments. Now, we will trigger some funds transfer from the servicer portal for credit score from the escrow account where the score credit must be above 700. Now, there'll be an installment of a calculator, maximum 24 months for the calculation of the period of which the borrower is going to pay their money, so that on the borrower's portal, they'll be able to see whatever, how they have their progress in terms of payment. Now, there will be a procedure date, which was not going to go over 60 days in advance. If automated repayment option chooses, 14% of interest applies. If manual, 15% interest rate applies. Now, during our requirement gathering, ABC suggested that if people want to pay manually, they are going to have a 15% interest on their loans. But if it is going to be deducted or it's going to take it straight away, where we will not have to deal with the borrowers themselves, then we'll have a 15% interest. So that's also going to be there. Now, we'll have an interface to stop debiting and auto signed up client if the client dies, since they will not be liable in debt, which is in reference to our risk. Now, there will be some term and conditions policy acceptance, some analytics, some reports, and then also some two-factor authentication in case there is a loss of password. Then the lender per state, per hospital, decision-making AI machine to approve qualified or NFR instances. So this is basically the services portal. Let me just go to the borrowers portal. The borrower will also have some privileges where they can delete an account they've created, and then they can also modify. Now, let's note here that we will have some of these people who are already existing in the system because of their previous transaction with ABC. Now, we'll have the ability to see, the borrower will have the ability to see the provider's input, but only in read only. They can't alter them. Now, there will be a two-factor authentication to validate by entering their phone number. Then an OTP will be sent to the number for validation before entry into the PI. Now, there will be personal data mandatory fields where they will, in the creation, when we have new people who are creating accounts, there will be fields that are going to be compulsory for them. And those are stated there. Now, their names are going to be very much mandatory, but other names which do not appear on other documentations will not be mandatory, like their middle name will be optional. So the total procedure cost is going to be from $300 to $40,000, which is the maximum that they can take. Now, the amount being requested field is going to be there. The amount paid by the borrower is also going to be there. Now, the ability to choose the automated payment or the manual payment, which will attract the various interests, is also going to be there, which comes directly next. So there will be an algorithm to also calculate for that. Now, the whole procedure is not going to be more than 60 days. So you are going to do it 60 days in advance to the procedure, nothing less than that or nothing more than that. So there'll be a payment history that will show for the provider to also see their progress on their portal, so that at least if somebody has forgotten that they have paid this amount or that amount, that'll be easier for them to check. So after all this, then we would display. There's also the option where there is the display of the amount, when next the amount is supposed to be paid. And then because so it will be very easy for them to check this. They don't need to use they don't even need to use their calendars or any alarms or anything. They just log on to the portal and every information is right there for them. So there'll be a pre-populated place for their address and then all other informations over there. Now, when a user loses their password, there'll be an email which will be used to verify, because an email was used during the creation and it was verified over there. So that email will be used in resetting a password in case there is a loss of a password. Now, the borrower will also see some details from the provider, but only in read only, which also pertains to only that particular user. Now, in the API, the lender will have some user privileges of also creating, modifying, and then deleting their own account. Date to trigger transfers, algorithm to disperse their funds, and then also when they also lose their passwords, there'll be a two-factor authentications over there. Now, the escrow account API will also measure and monitor and then prevent overdraft. It's also going to have an interface between the back end of disbursement server to trigger transfers upon validation, and then an email notification after transfer for record keeping. And also, when there's a loss of password, there will be a two-factor authentication for reset. Now, there's also going to be an algorithm for reimbursing or for sharing the profit. Now, the financial shareholders are going to profit 60% because of their financial commitment, and then ABC is going to profit 60% over there, whilst the financial shareholders get 40. So that's also going to be there. Yeah. So I'll just run through. So there's also going to be we are going to have a credit bureau where we receive a request from the servicer portal for a query. That's for Equifax, and then they send the credit score for the users. Now there's going to be an assessing portal login, sign up various levels, and then going to allow payment for borrower either automatic or manual. That's going to be the payment gateways API, which is also going to be integrated into the platform. Now we'll look at some non-functional requirements for this platform. Now, the username policy. Now, when a user is entering their name, it has to be a minimum of 5 characters, and it shouldn't be more than 12 characters, which are going to be alphabets only. That's for username. Now, this is because, like I said earlier, because this is for people who are actually having health issues and all that, we just want to make this platform as simple and easy to use by everyone, so that we will have ease of access for the user. Now, the password will be a combination of both uppercase and lowercase alphabetical characters with at least 1 number character and then a special character in it. It will require a minimum of 8 and a maximum of 25 characters, so that it will be very secured. It will allow a minimum of 500,000 users at a time. 500,000 users at a time. Now, there will be a disaster recovery strategy. Now, we'll have HTTPS and then an SSL certificate, web application firewalls. We'll have an information security measures to prevent cross-site scripting, XSS, and then SQL injection, sensitive data exposure. Now, there'll be cybersecurity measures to fight any unpatched security vulnerabilities, phishing attacks, and then out-of-date server resources and cloud vulnerabilities, so that our system is secured enough. Each portal should be able to load it shouldn't be more than 5 seconds to load, so that it wouldn't waste so much of time. And there'll be no buffering as well. Now, an SMS must be sent and then received within 3 seconds when the users enter their phone numbers. And then the OTP should expire within 3 minutes. In 3 minutes, when it is not validated, the OTP expires. So here are some external interface requirements. And then the APIs. I think these we have gone through. Now, in the yes, so our SMS gateway, I think, and then our payment gateway. Let me talk about the payment gateways. I think these ones we have touched on them earlier. So our payment gateways, we are going to use PayPal, Android Pay, Apple Pay, Amazon Pay, debit payment hub interface. Now, because this is a company in the US, we are just for now restricting ourselves to services that are made in the US. Now, the SMS gateways is going to be Amazon SNS. Now, because this document is the initial document, we decided to not make it too technical, and then we couldn't bring in any wireframes for now, so that we can have the wireframes on a different document. Now, like I said, this is the initial document for reference and then for approval for our sponsor to go through, which if any changes are made or anything is requested, we come back to it. So our wireframes were left out from this particular document. Now, for our technical notes and then designs, we are going to use our mobile phones. Will be any communication network in the US, any internet browser, specifically the Firefox, Chrome, and then Internet Explorer. Opera will also be allowed. Now, the credit card that can be used for this platform will be PayPal and then Amazon Pay. Our APIs will be Equifax and then the escrow interface. So this is a brief overview of this document. Now, our estimation points over here, we are going to use 25 days for the requirement gathering. So the breakdown of the 25 days has been listed down there for each of the portals, which is going to take 5 days. Now, when this document is submitted for review, we will give a space of 1 month, and then we'll use 14 days to update. And when approved, we start developing it. So the decisions will be made by our sponsor, who is Mr. Samuel Boateng, and then we will continue with it. So this is a brief overview of this BRD. Thank you very much. Please, I'm open for any questions or anything that is not understood. Yeah.
Okay.
Hello, Emmanuel.
Hello.
Say, I'm here. Please, I'm listening.
Okay, so Emmanuel, very great presentation. I like, especially the technical aspects. I believe the technical aspects was well covered. But I want to understand. You mentioned something about the escrow account. If you can scroll up a bit, something about the escrow account being available to the provider.
To the provider.
Yes, and the amount was quoted. I didn't understand that bit. Probably it should be under the escrow account. And the amount was quoted in that statement.
Which will be available to the borrower?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It talked about money being credited from the escrow account to the borrower.
The borrower?
Yes.
Directly?
Yes. So that's where my misconception was, because I thought the initial suggestion by the stakeholder is that the money from all lending banks should be with the lending bank.
The lender, yes.
Yes. So if I've forgotten the heading, it's unfortunate, but it seemed like
okay. I think I'll go through and then check that. But
sure.
Like you are saying, that is the understanding that any lending will go to the lender before it goes to the borrower. So if anything of that sort is stated there, then I think it's just a mistake over there. Thank you. I'll go through and then I'll check that for you. Thank you very much.
Okay. So I'd like to say very well presentation. Everything was great. Learned a lot. But I have a question about the account deletion, because you mentioned that you're going to give the option for the borrower to delete his account and also for the lender to delete the account. Don't you think that would cause some issues?
So the idea behind that is now when the borrower creates an account and has not activated or started any procedure, and they feel they don't need it, they have the option to delete that account, so that we don't have accounts that are not used over there. But immediately
Yeah, so shouldn't that come from our side, the servicer side, instead of the borrower side? Because then if we give the option, imagine a borrower has already started and he just deletes it. And it doesn't become a complicated mess.
Yeah, I think that's very laudable. That's very laudable.
Yeah.
But I think the idea I was having was that they can immediately you start a process, you can't delete your account. But maybe you start a process and you feel you haven't even started a process, and then an account is created, you can delete. But like you're saying, I think yours makes sense more than mine. So I'll refer. Thank you.
Okay, thank you too.
Yeah, hello, Emmanuel.
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Yeah, this is Emmanuel also. Unfortunately, I've been signed off by internet connectivity. But I think just the previous person who just asked you the question about the deletions. Yes, I had the same question there. Why are you deleting? Why should they delete their account or their systems off? But thinking about it closely, there are policies, okay, data protection policies and other policies that point to the fact that if you have an account in your system, it has a right to delete the account. You cannot say that when you create an account, you cannot delete it. But developer, you have the right to know how you keep those details in your database, so that for the purpose of reporting and other references, that you can get to it. But if I'm a user and I create an account and I feel like I'm dissatisfied or probably that, and I'm no longer interested to be part of the service, I should have the right to delete the account.
That is why if you are sending emails and I get your point. It requires that you subscribe to whatever platform you have signed up to. So you have them. It's a policy. So but this is a lending system, sir. So if you just delete accounts, I'm not saying that they will not be allowed to the option, but basically a better option in my perspective would be something like a request to ask the servicer to delete the account. Therefore, we can then take the necessary requirements if it's to manually convert anything. I don't know, but
Perfect.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
That's
I'm not just, yes, because just deleting your account, in my perspective, I feel that but at least if anything, like you make a request to the servicer, then we review the account, make our adjustments, and then we delete. That's where I was thinking. Yeah, that's where I was thinking.
I like the suggestions. I actually was doing this from an experience I had. This is money lending, and the person is creating the account for a procedure. Now, if maybe along the line the person gets the money or some funds that's readily available, I mean, people will just choose that option. So I thought maybe since the procedure has not started, if I create an account, I should be able to delete the account if the procedure has not started. So, but like you're saying, this is it's we are sharing ideas. So I mean, the best is what we go for. So I think it's a great point today.
Yes, so it happens in the banks as well, where you create an account with the bank. You can go back to say, I want to close it now. So I think that's the right word to use, that you want to close it instead of probably deleting it. I think that's where the confusion is.
Yeah. That's true. All right. Thank you very much.
Okay. Hello, Ima.
Yes,
Mr. Mo. Yeah, great presentation. This is your brother Emmanuel Labi. Were you having anything on use case? Did you present anything on use case?
Yes. There are some use cases there. Let me But there were no diagrams, but I have the use
Okay,
cases over
okay,
here.
okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. You know, you were saying about yes, lender credits escrow. No, let's go back to the use case. Yeah. Good. Lender credits escrow, provider doctor issues a request. Okay, perfect. I think with the explanation you were giving to the very first question, you I don't know if it was a slip, but you mentioned the lender would send the money to the lender. I don't know.
Yeah. It was a mistake. Forgive
Okay.
me for that.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's the lender to the provider. Is that correct?
Exactly. The lender to the provider and the provider
Then
to the
The
borrower.
borrower. Perfect.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Then exactly. And who initiates the process? Can the borrower just get up to start the process? I want money, or I want.
From what our sponsor told us, they would prefer they prefer the health facilities to start the process.
Good. So the initiation of the process begins
Yes.
with the provider.
Yes, with the provider.
So if the provider gets the go ahead from the servicer that okay, you can start the process, that is when he or she gets the go ahead to start his or her process as a borrower.
Exactly.
Okay. So I think then we are all on the same page, because from your explanations, I was hearing some mishaps from here and there. So I wasn't too clear if we were all saying the same thing. But I think it's a great work. And about the wireframes, you said you didn't want to cause any confusion. I think the reason why you didn't include the wireframes.
Yes, I was saying that it's an already existing platform. So we decided to keep this document as less technical as possible. So we decided to, as at the time this document was being put together, we wanted to separate the wireframes from this main document here. So that's the reason we didn't.
But what or how would you explain to me the purpose of the wireframe? Why do we include the wireframes in the document?
The wireframes are there to see how the whole system is going to work in the form of a diagram, if I'm right.
Okay, so don't you think that rather simplifies what you have? Doesn't it give more clarity how it's going to look like, how graphically you are going to present your, in this case, your portals? Do you get me, please?
Yeah, I get you. Exactly. So that's right. It should be here. But then, like I was saying, that when the document was being sent, it was not
ready. Okay. It's supposed to be there, but it was not ready. Okay, sure. About the concurrent users, I saw 500,000. The previous gentleman that was, I've forgotten the name, also said 5,000. If stakeholder can clarify, or if someone is sure what he said can help, because you said 500,000 concurrent users, if I'm not wrong. And the previous presenter also was emphatic that he said 5,000. Can we get some clarity on that?
Yeah, so I think, the number here, it is very important that, you guys will state what the stakeholder said. I cannot recall exactly what I said in the requirement. We'll have to go back to the tape and listen to it. I have different streams of people I talk to all the time about different things. But the idea here is that make sure that, you capture the exact, thoughts, the exact requirement of, the business that you're working with, right? So
I think you said 500,000.
Yeah, if it's 500,000, I mean, the idea is that when you put out a system out there, we have something we call, performance testing and then load testing, right? We have tools like, the HP Load Runner and other tools like that, which are used for simulating if we have 100,000 people logging on the platform. Like next week, for instance, you're going to have one of the biggest holiday season, right? Black Friday here in America. Thursday is going to be Thanksgiving. And then the Friday after Thanksgiving here in America is what we call Black Friday. And I know now, quite recently, even in Ghana, you are all doing Black Friday, right? Now, platforms over here, especially retail outlets like Best Buy, like maybe Walmart, like Amazon, etc. Black Friday is big deal for them, right? So if you have a platform like that, where you have several hundred thousands of people, trying to access it, trying to buy something, trying to catch a deal, get something on Black Friday, we do not want to get to a point where, if 10,000 people just, access it, that's it. It's a complete shutdown for us. It's a knockout. I think last week or something, I think, Ghana Police Service, they put out an announcement. They had put out something that some examination was ready. So some applicants that you have recruited into Ghana Police Service.
For the recruitment
system. And then later on in the morning, I saw them put up something up that, the system is down.
Yeah.
But the system is down because they did not do, they didn't execute, a lot of, load testing and performance testing in the system, and say that, okay, if we are recruiting 2,000, maybe for them, the number is suboptimal, like very small. Because I know Ghana Police is not recruiting 10,000 people. I know.
If I may ask, just to a quick one there. So, for instance, if a system is supposed to, you want to load test like maybe 500,000. How do you get 500,000 people to test the system?
So it'll be very wrong to think that we're going to have real human beings doing 500,000. That's why I said we have a tools like Load Runner, HP Load Runner, right? So we have tools like that here in America. We have tools, that enterprise tools application that we buy to be able to simulate that experience, right? And so if I want to see how, the application will be stressed out on Black Friday, like a time and a day like Black Friday, 500,000 people logging on, I can use the HP Load Runner to do that, right? They are used for performance testing, right? So that there are systems like that. But of course, Ghana, I do not blame anybody. They might not even be aware of, stuff like that, right? And so I saw Ghana Police put out that, hey, their system is down. They are working on it to bring it back up, right? Why? Because they just gave an announcement, and probably maybe a little over 1,000 people has just logged on to access their application and whatnot, and then that was it. That took their platform down. Because when they're developing whatever that system is, I've never been on it. I don't even know the URL. Somebody somewhere should have thought about it and said, if we're building a public platform like that, as part of the process, we need to have to be able to execute performance testing, load testing on this platform. And of course, I know nobody's going to do that in Ghana because HP Load Runner is not cheap. The licensing for these enterprise tools are very expensive, and so I do not blame them. But yes, to your question, there are tools that are designed for us to simulate that number of people experience.
All right. Yeah, I think that's clear. So, okay. So for instance, this particular this project, what do you think is the minimum? Say, what should be the estimation of the number of people who are going to access this to prevent any form of shutdown like that?
I was talking, but I think I was on mute. So that's what I was saying, that we have to look at the requirement. The requirement says that if 500,000 is 500,000, if it's 5,000, 5,000 concurrent users, right? And we need to be able to have some, load testing or stress testing done on that.
Okay. I think that's clear.
Nana, is it possible for me to continue?
Are there any more questions for Emmanuel Emmanuel, or everybody is okay. Okay, all right. If there are no questions for him, Emmanuel, yes. You can come back again if your internet is stable now. I'm gonna give you 15 minutes, right? Because I have to start getting ready. Because I have a presentation with some youth this morning. We have a conference that I'm speaking this morning. So I'm gonna give 15 minutes so that it will allow you to the other folks to ask questions as well, and then I have to run.
All right, thank you so much. I think I'm somewhere here. I was talking about the solutions of business problems, yes. So basically, we understand that ABC Financial into helping people who want to have a house or who want to have a home or want to have properties. And so that's where ABC Financial Group is into. But they've noticed that other have people or other people in the society are facing difficulties trying to finance their, especially those that are not covered by health insurance, and like surgery and the rest. And so they deem it fit to such a area to help them have access to loans to be able to do that. Yes, we also noticed that the stakeholders engagement, we noticed that ABC Financial Group have a domain, which is properly secured. The loan platform is being run for the home servicing. So we have it, the abcfinancialgroup.com hosts the platform for loans for that. So to be system or solution to this is that as we note, have this unique market that they want to go into, which is to deal with the surgery plus plastic surgery. The platform is also going on web. It's going to be a web-based platform as well, which borrowers modules will have the providers, which is the hospital or the physicians, the lenders, and the service provider or the servicer, which is the platform provider itself. So the fundamental goal of the to-be platform will be to track the status of the borrowers, the providers, the lenders, and the services, their activities in terms of the walkthrough or the lifestyle or the lifetime of the loan process. And it's also to facilitate and automate the communications between all. So a to-be platform will be hosted on a subdomain, which will be the embblender.abcfinancialgroup.com. The scope, we are looking at functionalities, the performance, the security, and the system requirements, which will be identified by me, and the proposal that's being communicated to the servicer or the ABC Financial Group. Planning the various activities that will be carried out at the platform will be captured here on top of the scope as well. So we will also consistently engage to make sure that other scopes that are not captured be captured here. We'll also be making reference to the future We'll be making reference to the already system that are developed to get inspirations from it. So we know this platform is going to be a web-based, which would involve all the parts mentioned earlier. We'll use this system to track and manage borrowers or the stakeholders as mentioned. Their programs and then the procedures status will also be captured as well. So we want to know the problem is with the borrower and that he want to engage our service. So that will be captured. We'll track and manage and then loan throughout. I've mentioned that earlier somewhere. Facilitate online communication around would be key, because everybody wants to know if there's a problem with the borrower. I want to lay that problem to the servicer to solve, and so that's captured as well. There will be user-friendly interface. A responsive system will be care of any devices at all that each user is using. Modern technologies would also be used for the purposes of updates of the system. If in case of data growth or time, let me say performance efficiency. Take care of the configuration aspect of it in case there's anything that needs to be fixed later. That would also be taken care of. Emails, automation of emails will be integrated to make sure that email sent to probably people who are creating accounts and verification being done in that manner. Of external data, using an API is key. I spoke about the confirmation of emails. The social security number is key in terms of authenticating who is borrowing the money and all that. We will also be capturing how the borrower will be able to make payments, how these disbursements will be done as well on the platform. Commission being paid to organization as well. We'll do that as well. And we'll also be generating electronic reports, electronic signatures for authorizing or for signing up for loans. Security measures will be taken seriously, looking at the SO framework in terms of data storage and processing. Out of scope, we are looking at anything that is or any change that exists of the already existing platform. So we noticed that ABC have a loan system which the homeowners or those who are yearning to have homes. And so such platform and this platform, two separate platforms. And so anything that is coming from the home loan platform, which has to come to do with this platform, is more or less like measures. So integration of existing data on something we are developing will be out of scope. Collection of loans if the borrower is defaulted. Also one of the areas we are looking at as out of scope. Even though the system will have the opportunity to send automatic emails to informing them about their payments, but the system will not be able to follow them and take the money from them. That will be taken care of by cases. Assumptions. So we'll make sure that the already ABC has a secure system environment which hosts one of the platforms already. That will be noted. There will be, will require users to have a valid or active account prior to logins, right, which contribute user data. Audits logins, or we will audit the logs which capture user-specific activities, including login, logout, actions, as well as the IP address of all the users. This is for the purpose. We will data only on just statistical reports, but that will be done without requiring these names being published as established by the health international health regulations, which we have seen in this earlier. So the users will be able to log in from remote anywhere they are in the world. That will be one of the assumptions that we are looking at. So looking at the low bandwidth, which the system would be run on, would help the users to be able to run or to the system and do the activity issue. As low as your internet connectivity could be, you should be able to have access to that. So we will also take care of the threats which could come from other users in terms of security and all that. So we are saying that the platform developer will not have access to the user-generated content. Yes, this is very key. When you finish developing, we hand over to the ABC, and they take care of all the content and everything that comes with it. As a developer, you have no hand in any of such stuff. All right, so I'll move to the next one because of the time limits. The business rule, I kind of put it here as a qualification for the loan. Credit check shall be run on the borrowers. So credit score of 400 and below is considered low. Credit above 650 pass, but it will not be considered for loan. Servicer will only process loan for borrowers who have scored 70. All right, so 800 score is considered an excellent, and is done to make sure that those who are being given the money, there's assurance that they will pay back. The borrowers would, for the loan, for the loan shall be notified through an automated SMS and email without or collateral. 15% flat rate shall be calculated on the total sum received by the borrower.
You have 3 minutes, Emmanuel.
Okay, and spread through 24 months. And those who paid automatically would do that, would pay or would receive a discount for payments, which is 14%. These are the platforms that would be created within the system. We have the servicer, the lender, the borrower, and the provider. So jump over this, and so these are the summary of the requirements. We'll capture the profile by the registrations, utilities, user accounts will be created, user dashboard will also be created, data accessibility will be key, data integrity, system security, and then linking to other systems or database as well. All right, so taking from the user, taking from the state or the executive sponsor, we notice from the store he gave us. That's the servicer would want to have a super admin role, which means that he will have the privileges to be able to configure settings, make sure that all users on the platform control. As a servicer, they also want to make sure that the account email is automatically sent to the account holder and a proper authentication or authorization permissions are granted, right, before they use the service. Service provider would initiate this process, who is the service provider, is the doctor or the hospital who initiate the service for the borrower. Any authorized user can update any profile directly on the website. As I said, they want to make sure that the date and the username that logged in, or when profile is changed, right? So that is for the users, for all the users can be able to authorize users, date their profile directly. A servicer will to make sure that edit and rights, and making sure that I don't want to read. I'm paraphrasing, so please forgive me for the. And the servicer, they want to make sure that the data generated by each user or category of users are logically and separate from each other. So it means that when a servicer data will not be mixed with that of the service provider, we will have their data segregated. So as a servicer, the entity providing this loan application service on behalf of the lender. So the servicer is actually the central point. The lender could put his money or her money into a platform where the servicer will be able to manage that on his behalf. As a servicer, they want the provider, okay, who is the hospital and other users, to offer 24/7 service online, right? So it's going to be there forever. The entity receives the interest received by provider will be made available on dashboard of the servicer processed. So whatever entry that is made by borrower or by the provider would be made available on the dashboard for any action to be taken. A service only processed loan for borrower who have scored 700. A lender, they want a financial, who is a financial partner that is providing the actual loan, right? Product to finance the special healthcare, such special surgical procedures, plastic surgeries, and right. So the lender is the one doing that, is the one providing the money for that to be done. Then the lender will also deposit $500 million into an escrow account, of which the provider can manage. All right, so the borrower have a minimum of $300 to $1,000 for a loan, as a loan to borrow. Payment of the first one. The borrower can increase its minimum or maximum loan. It's it's known if the threshold has not reached, that is, if for instance the borrower is borrowing, let's say in 5, but the maximum has not been reached, it's have access to the rest, the short. So the borrower could be reported to the credit bureau if they defaulted to pay, or they defaulted several times to pay the loan. That will be done by Equifax to make sure that the collection units go ahead with the collection. Right. So with the non-functional requirement, we are looking at the security and data encryptions. We are looking at application of features. Component models of the solution will be supported for access on the latest browser, including the rest of the browsers, Chrome and the rest. Make sure that all that works perfectly. Responsive designs will take care of to take care of all devices earlier. Users will remain logged in to their sections as the exercise is in progress. There will be autosave of features preventing data loss. So whatever data is being will be saved automatically. The solution will include system logs of activities. Yes, so all events will be taken by the system. The interface would be delivered in English, French, Portuguese, and Spanish, but that can rather be increased later if probably maybe there are other speakers in America that would love to probably use the platform in their language, own language. There will be constant update of products and services of ABC on the homepage. This is to strategically demonstrate to visitors or the users of the platform what services are available for us, for them. I would pause here for questions if any questions for me, please.
Hello, Emmanuel. This is Daniel speaking.
Okay.
And please, I have a question on the functional requirement. If you can scroll back the functional requirement. I saw a figure quoted, and I wanted to confirm whether something on the $500 million.
Okay.
It's not on this page.
Number
okay.
12.
Point 12.
Lender, yes. A deposit of $500 million.
Was it $500 million or $500,000? I
captured I captured $500 million. If there's any reverse of that, I think I'll do that correction.
Okay.
Then maybe I didn't capture it properly.
I believe it was $500,000.
Okay.
Okay.
Because in my diary here, I've seen 500 million. So
500 million.
If that is.
Hello. Hello, Emmanuel.
Yes, please. Go ahead.
Great job so far. I like how colorful your presentation is. And I think in terms of understanding, it's quite straightforward. Even with how you've done your functional requirements, everything is quite clear. So I commend you on that. greatly. I just, however, have a question on the functional requirements 15 and 16. If you can clarify something for me in terms of application of for subsequent loan. I just want to be sure. Are you sure? Is it only when you are finished paying off a loan completely that you can apply for one or increase it? Because even in the next one, that's 16, you say that as a borrower, I could increase my loan if the maximum amount set was not reached in my first session, and I see need to ask for funds to support my bill. So it's not quite clear. Can you clarify? Because what I understand from the stakeholder meeting is that when a loan has been successful, right? But then you realize that you need an additional amount, then you just start another process. But nothing was said about you having to finish payment before. So I don't know, maybe I may get it wrong. So I just want you to clarify that for me. Yeah, I don't know if you get me clearly.
Yes, I think I get you. On my listening sections with the stakeholder, I got the understanding that, yes, if I start I can pay back that loan completely, and then if I need an extra one, if I need it in the future, then I can apply for it again. That's after payment of the first one. But it also says that, or if I have probably applied for, say, 5,000, and that is what the surgery did. But probably maybe there was a complication somewhere, and I need an extra money to show up. Entitled to 40,000, but I've only applied for 5,000, then I can still go ahead and add up the understanding I got, unless it's misplaced, then I will be able to correct that as well. I think the stakeholder is with us, or the page, and so you can clarify that for us, and we'll be able to.
Oh, okay, thank you. Okay, I don't know whether Nana would want to come in, but because what I remember is that so if you need an increased amount, then the provider just starts that process for you. It's like simultaneously on the side, because it made something known like you would not just need money and say, okay, you want to increase it. So that process will have to be started. But since, like you said, he's here, so I'm sure he's listening. He can just clarify for us. Thank you.
Yes, so that correction is over.
I think we talked about this in I think last week from the presentation of Hades. You guys are talking about whether the applicant or the borrower can come for like an additional money. Am I correct?
Yes.
I think we talked about this last week. You guys can refer to that video. Any more questions for Emmanuel?
Yes.
We have 3 minutes and I need to run.
Thank you, Nana.
Yeah.
Okay. Emmanuel, so please, what are some of the okay, firstly, what's your estimation point, like a timeline for the work that you think that you'll be able to finish the work for the stakeholder, and also like what are some security features that you're going to put into like how the payment gateway is done, the API, how it will work? What are some of the security features? Because I think I didn't hear a lot about that side, the APIs for payment and all of those.
Okay, so thank you so much. I think with the integration of the API system, we are looking first of all with the SL authenticate from the server, which has to do with how and then the browser communicates, the security protocol which back that, and so that is the first thing to look at going forward with the platform. You spoke about another thing again. Can you remind me again, please? I think your questions are
Yes. So my first question was on the API like integration, how you're going to do that in its security. And then the second one was the timeline for the work, the estimation points, like
yes.
how you're
So
going to build a thing.
as of the time I was submitting the documents, I've not captured that. So that's why I will talk about.
Thank you so much. Great work again. Quite clear.
I'll go back and look at that. Yes.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Great work.
Thank you. Any more questions, please?
Okay, so a quick one. I want to know if this is the same format you presented your BRD in terms of the format, the PowerPoint to the stakeholder, or for the sake of this presentation, that's why you have it in this form.
No, it's in Microsoft Word, in PowerPoint, what do you call it, PDF file. Yeah, so it's because of the presentation I'm presenting, so therefore it should be done in
Okay. So your BRD is a PDF document. Powerful. That's nice. I think I like it, and the presentation was on point. But I think you need a lot of energy. I think we spoke about this the last time. Some energy in your voice. Since you are presenting, you need to be audible. You need to up your voice. You need to be able to command your voice to be able to be audible. Yeah, because if you don't get people along with you, they might lose interest in what you're talking about, even though you have something to share. Thank you. But all the same, the content is solid and it's on point. I like your design. Yeah, your color choice for the presentation is on point.
Thank you. Sorry you couldn't get me clearly. I thought that my voice is really a threatening one, and so I was trying to be a bit economical with it so that it won't look like I'm shouting. And so
I
sorry
see.
that you couldn't get it.
It's fine.
Sorry,
it's fine.
you couldn't get it this time.
Awesome.
So maybe next time you get me.
Yeah, awesome. Sure.
And on
Sure.
that note, that Emmanuel wants to be economical and very frugal with his voice, we will.
Also to be economical with his time.
We'll have to put the curtains down here, guys. I need to run. I've got a presentation to do this morning at the conference.
Awesome.
So I'll let you guys know in the course of the week, there's going to be another pop quiz again. So this time I'll give you guys a hint, right? I've done well. So look out for that. It's going to sneak in, and it's going to leave you guys with like 4 hours, 5 hours to get it done. When you go to school and you go to school and you're giving a quiz, it is sometimes just 45 minutes, 30 minutes. But I'm very generous, right? I give you guys 4 hours. I am very generous. The reason why I'm generous is that I know some of you close to your WhatsApp and you might get to it closer than maybe than others, right? But I know for sure that definitely everybody is going to get it. So yeah, some people are going to, they will see this late. It's going to be like maybe 1 hour more or 2 hours maybe late or something, maybe close to the deadline or whatever. But that is the reason why I give you guys 5 hours, 6 hours gap, right? So it doesn't matter, what time you get it, you shouldn't have to deliver, because when you go to school and you have a quiz or a test, it's 30 minutes, 45 minutes, right? And you sit down right there and then you get it done. All right. So be expecting that. It might be two, right? Maybe one might come in Tuesday, one might come in Thursday or something like that, right? So expect that, and then you guys will deliver. So be expectant. And then like I said, I want to close off these presentations. Maybe tomorrow I will see. I will know by tomorrow's morning presentation, because by next week going, I want us to start with Agile, and then we get into the real stuff. I'll start provisioning your accounts, your emails in Jira. We'll start writing user stories, etc. We'll start getting into some huge stuff, and there are other topics for us to also discuss as well, database, change management stuff, etc., APIs, maybe. There are other things, SQL, Queryland. We'll be doing a couple of things as well. So we need to run. It is my hope that at least by the end of December we should be done, and but we'll have to go with speed, right? We'll need to run with speed. All right, guys, I need to go. Thank you all. Have a great morning, depending on wherever that you are. Have a great afternoon. Have a great weekend.
Okay,
all the very